So we're here to talk about our students' performance in addition and subtraction, and we've just started some assessments in subtraction, and we have already done some assessments in addition. So we were talking about how we wanted to start being a little bit more specific with setting up some SMART goals for our students as far as addition, and then setting some SMART goals for our students in subtraction. So we said we would like to take a look at the different components or pieces that our students would need to have or need to understand in order to be successful in both addition and subtraction. So if you want to go ahead and look at our critical learning phases. And what are the different components or pieces of understanding that you feel that your students need to know in order to be successful in each of these?
For me, it's just place value. Definitely, they know tens, groups of tens, and 10 plus more. Do they know 10 plus and 10 less and any number?
To me, I think too is combining quantities and reorganizing them by tens and ones. They need to know, like, combining numbers. We make group of 10 and we got leftovers. They need
How to make another 10.
How to make another 10.
Yes.
I think it's also important for them to see the value of that. Why does a teacher want me to make tens? Why does she want me to break this number to make a 10? And then also why am I 7, to see why they can break the 7 to a 3 and a 4, and a 5 and a 2. And it's to make that 10 and to have leftovers. And so I think the value is also important.
Well, there's definitely a lot of pieces that, and like Vicki was saying, that the students, they already can do. They don't have an appreciation of, that it's going to help them in for their development in math. And so our job is to put the pieces together for them and help them make those connections.
Set them up
for success. Yeah. And so I guess this is a good starting point for us to start talking about a specific goal that we would like our students. As far as addition is concerned, we want to go ahead and create a SMART goal for what do we want our students to walk away with, or to be able to, what do we want as second grade team to be able to say, this is where we would like our students, this is a place where we would be satisfied if a certain percentage of our students would meet this criteria by the end of second grade.
Well, just based on the, I only assess 7 kids, but just based on that goal, I would say probably a third of my kids would benefit from more intense focus on that at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I think I would have a lot of third too.
Okay,
So I think that's a good thing.
let's say within the next 2 weeks, our goal would be what percentage of our students would be able to see relationships. I'm sorry?
If I can do 90% of mine to see them relationships, that'd be great.
With fluidity, up to
Right.
20.
Be able to explain it too.
Right.
Yes, I think so
Be able to
too.
explain.
I really like what you said right now about what's the same about 14 and 33. That's a great question for number talk, which I haven't been doing that, so I think that's a wonderful question. I can start doing that for sure.
She just said when we add, I worry about running out of cubes, but today we're subtracting. Why am I not worried about running out of cubes? So I thought that was just a really interesting or nice question, because what's going to happen, the number is not going to grow. We've got what we're working with.
How or what we need to do to get our students prepared for third grade. And in doing that, analyze the data that we've already collected, seeing what we're doing now and what we need to improve upon or change or add, to make those students successful in third grade.
As a team, would that be something
I
that would
questioning.
cover
Questioning
validating.
is important.
That way we can be very intentional in thinking and.
Questioning not only within our number talks, but also with the end in mind vocabulary that's used between our number talks and assessment.
It's something we do in reading. When they make an error and then they self-correct, we'll point that out and say, well, what did you do here? And then we have them explain what they did, but in math we don't always, we know what they mean if they say 2010s, but that's a good point, making them.
I would like somebody coming to my class and see me doing a number talk.
I'll be glad to do that.
Writing what kind of questions I'm asking, then kind of talk about it. And then I would like them to come back later again to see if my questioning got better.
We could
You can see.
I did that last year with Lillian. We did some
Yeah.
of our stuff together in
Together,
class because then the kids in my class got to experience
Right.
the
The
thought
teacher.
process of her
We
student.
could do more of that.
So
I
are we
also
saying
want to take
record
time.
Maybe we can do one a week.
So there's a couple of things that you're finding valuable. Recording your, videoing yourself, going into each other's rooms.
Do we want to plan a
Partnering
number talk
up.
together?
Yeah.
We could do that.
Because we would have to come back and
So partners planning number talk together.
Yes.
Yes.
And then just let me know what you need as far as coverage or how you, well, you're gonna plan together and then work
Have our
together
kids
in your,
together, yeah.
with your kids, right? Okay, that's wonderful.
That is. How about, how we're gonna evaluate ourselves? So we
Yeah,
come
that's a good
in
question.
and we're gonna see each other and then,
What could you do?
Well, I think one of
How
the
are you
ways
gonna
we could evaluate it is,
Not just us, but
maybe the students?
but I mean, evaluate
Their
it coming
reactions?
across with the students is how they use
How are you gonna know
the
they're
vocabulary
benefiting the students?
that we're intentionally questioning, using within our questioning. Does
Maybe
that
when
make
we
sense?
videotaped it in the beginning and then videotape again at the end and see, did the student vocabulary, did their talk, did it,
right, how long of
How
a
will
time
you
do
know?
what's the range of time that we want to give the kids, you know, an opportunity to start using that vocabulary? And when we're visiting them in the stations, that's where we're going to be able to notice that they're using, you know, what we're
We
trying
can-
to get across to them.
we
So
can probably videotape
Kids
our.
that we are seeing for intervention every day. Even if we went ahead and, of course, we're going to miss some things and not say some things that we should have said once we go back and look at it. Record that session with them so that we can see what they're doing. Because when I'm looking at Bobby here, I may not see what Jenny's doing. And so if I do that and I look at the video and then I go back and I said, okay, this is what I need to work with them on throughout this, during my intervention time, just so that we're hitting all the points and helping all the students at the, you know,
session or that time that we're visiting each other's classrooms, because I think we all have good ideas that we could bring to the table, and so that would be a good opportunity to show, you know, what I do with my students, you know, that are still needing intervention. That way, you can go back to your classroom and use that if you want to, and then when I visit you, you know, just getting ideas. I mean, making, you know, that time valuable. We're going to be looking at each other, analyzing each other's, if we're using the vocabulary, we're going to be just pulling a small group and showing what kind of things that we're doing for our intervention.
Yeah,
right?
small group, yeah.